Hi, my name is Josh, and I will be doing a screencast review over the cyberbullying prevention mini unit. Before we dive in, I just want to show the grading rubric that I created here in Google Sheets. Basically, just the seven, going over the assignment description. There are these one, two, three, four, five, six main bullets, and then there's just like this extra credit option. So I have these six categories sectioned out, and then the extra credit down here is the seventh optional piece. This first main component is just about a learning platform that's going to house really the rest of the project. So I did want to offer some points for that, like picking an appropriate platform that's viewable and all that. But really the meat of the project is divvied up down here. So I gave most of the points between these five, and then just a few for an appropriate platform. So what we'll do, I guess, is just go through all of these bullets. We'll look at all the sub bullets, make sure everything is there, and we'll kind of dole out the points appropriately. So I guess we'll start here with the learning platform. The learning platform that was picked by this group is a Google site. It's very easy to navigate. It's very colorful. It looks very good. Just quickly going through here and looking at all the different pages. Anytime that there is a link, or something that's embedded like this Word document, it's visible, so all the viewing rights are appropriate, all the links do what they're supposed to do, take you to where they're supposed to take you. So that's all good. So an appropriate place to house the assignment, everything works, everything's shared the way it's supposed to. So I would give, the full 10 points here for that section. So we're diving into the meat of this, right? The next section here is this course description, objectives, and expectations, which has these four mini bullets. So the first of those mini bullets is a unit description, which on the home page here can be found. This first preamble kind of gives a reasoning for why this unit's important. Cyberbullying is a big thing, especially among younger students. And then it goes on to kind of address these four essential questions, four essential ideas that are going to be kind of picked at during the course of the 6-day mini unit. So it's a good unit description. It's a good overview. It gives a lot of detail for what's about to happen. And then the next required section is learning outcomes, which is kind of just scrolling down. It's the next section here. It's these like four big takeaways that students are going to have, which kind of feeds back into these like essential questions or ideas from up here. And then performance and participation expectations. It talks about what students are expected to do. It talks about what their collaboration is going to look like. And it also talks about some basic guidelines for just group work in general. So we have all of that covered as well. This is kind of also where the introduction to like what assignments are going to be done, right? So students are expected to write their own blogs after every lesson. And then students are expected to bookmark articles. Then they're going to curate a board on Pinterest and do a final poster. So this is kind of the intro to where all the assignments, what assignments are going to be done during the unit. And the last requirement for this first section is the social media guidelines, which actually has its own tab over here. So you can see that there are 10 social media guidelines here. And I also like that it looks like they've embedded a Word Google Doc or a Word document that is a permission slip that parents would sign, which is kind of cool, telling parents what's going to be expected of their students and either choosing to have them opt out or kind of get on board right at the beginning. So it's kind of a nice little thing here that students can have their parents read and sign. So all four of the mini bullets were addressed, I think, pretty well. So for this section, I would give the full 28 points. And then next we have the student and course content creation and sharing platforms. So there needed to be six of these sections utilized, and there needed to be 6 platforms. And kind of going through here, this technology page kind of shows what technologies and platforms are going to be used. So for sharing and doing work discussions, Edmodo is going to be like the main hub. It's going to be kind of where everything gets turned in. Students are going to go in and use this class code to sign up, and that's going to be like the main work sharing / discussion platform that they're going to use. And then the students' own personal platforms are going to be these edu blogs, which are essentially just blogs. And after every day that they work, they're going to do a blog entry, and uh, they're going to post their blog entry. And then there's this little bit in here that students will comment on at least 3 peers' blogs, which means that they're also going to be writing for an authentic audience. And then the students are going to have to go back in and um, review other people's readings as well. And then there is going to be some photo sharing using Google Drawings. It sounds like these students already have Google accounts set up, so they should already have access to this Google app for Google Drawings. And this is going to be where they create a poster and do one of their assignments. And then they'll use this platform to kind of share their drawings out, which sounds good. They're going to use Skype. It looks like at the end of the unit as a synchronous meeting and discussion platform where they're going to basically present their project to other students. So there's that. Digo will be the social bookmarking tool. So as they're gathering resources for their poster, this will be the place where they kind of like pin them and grab them. And it looks like students are going to use Pinterest for curation. So after they use Digo to grab their resources, they're going to curate them all with Pinterest, and that's going to funnel into Google Drawings. So these 6 tools here represent 6 of these different platforms. So they hit the minimum requirement. They're using 6 different ones, 6 different mini subcategories are addressed. So they've done everything they need to here. So I would go ahead and award the full 28 points here as well. And then the last, or not the last, but the next section here is the student interaction section, where there needs to be a process for students to interact and collaborate with each other. So the first mini bullet here is how will students form the small groups. So over here on the home page, under student performance and participation, it says that students will be working in groups of 3 that have been prearranged by the teacher. So it sounds like that's just going to be selected and done right off the bat. And then the next sub bullet here is how students are going to report their progress. So it sounds like students are going to use their edu blogs. It's kind of talked about over here under the technology. Students are going to use their edu blogs to reflect on their learning every day. They'll post a link to their blogs onto Edmodo, and it looks like the teachers are then just going to be able to monitor and make sure that students are turning one in every day. Edmodo is also where all the other assignments are going to be posted, so it sounds like that's going to be like the main monitoring tool for teachers. And then, let's see, the last sub-bullet here is that the students need to establish their own professional learning environments and be like encouraged to do that. So again, I think that's kind of addressed here with these edu blogs. They're going to use those to blog about what they learn, and they're going to share that in an effort to kind of expand their professional learning environment. They'll be establishing a blog and posts that they can share with other people. They're also going to be curating a list of resources on Pinterest, which once they have that list curated, they can go ahead and share that board on Pinterest. So that's going to be another way for them to kind of reach out of their own classroom to expand their learning environment. So I would say then that these 3 bullets here have been met. So again, for this next section, for student interaction, I'd go ahead and award full points. It looks good. And then the next section is how they plan to monitor course interactions. And there are these 3 sub-bullets here. So I looked around through the website to see if like a course tag or a course hashtag had been set up for students to use. And I didn't really see it anywhere. I didn't really see one under like the home page where like there would be like a setup or an introduction to like something you'd use throughout. And there wasn't really any information about that in here. I feel like a lot of the information is probably going to be organized through Edmodo, so maybe a course hashtag wouldn't be as important in terms of like organizing because it's all going to be turned in here anyway. But students are using Digo and they are using Pinterest. And I do know that both of these make use of hashtags. So it might be kind of cool to set one up, 1 or 2 up here so that students can then go in and sort and find stuff that other students are doing pretty easily. And that's not like restricted just to teachers. So it might be something cool here to have added just for sorting and things like that. The next bullet here is there needs to be a way to collect information, so like RSS feeds or something like that. And it seems like Edmodo is going to be that kind of resource collection tool. It seems to be the way they're going to be monitoring all the work. And then over here in technology information, this is kind of like the teacher page. It looks like they're going to make use of this Freedly website, and that's going to be the tool that they use to monitor all the blog posts and monitor those and make sure they're all coming in, and read those and things like that. And then it also looks like teachers are going to be monitoring the resources by kind of staying on the class Digo page. So those are going to be the two main tools that teachers use to grab those resources. And then there also needs to be a process for giving announcements for students. And it looks like Edmodo has an announcements tool, right? Edmodos will be used for announcements as well as sharing resources and submitting work. So it sounds like this is going to be the main platform for administering announcements. So overall, most of these points have been addressed. There wasn't really any course tags or hashtags, but based on the platform selected, maybe that was a little less important here. But they still could have been used. So I would award 24 points here. Most of it was done, but there was something that maybe could have been done or added to enhance some of the assignments. And then the last required section here is this sample learning activities section, which requires describing at least 3 different activities for your course. So the 3 lessons are outlined again on the home page, and it's kind of hidden in this performance and participation expectations, where it talks about student participation, and then it says for one of the lessons you are expected to bookmark articles shared with your group, and then create a curation board on Pinterest, and then create a poster as a final project. So these are the 3 assignments, and there's a little bit more detail on these assignments in the technology page, where it talks about which assignment's going to happen where. So the resource gathering is going to happen with Digo, the curation is going to happen with Pinterest, and then the poster is going to happen with Google Drawings. So those 3 assignments make use of 3 of the 6 technologies, which is good. The other technologies that weren't addressed are really about like personal reflection and then kind of like presenting the final project. So I think the fact that those assignments didn't grab these 3 is okay. I think they make good use of the 3 technologies that are used here. The 3 assignments that are picked seem to kind of have limited sharing with other students. It doesn't really talk about what students are going to do in terms of like sharing resources with each other, or what students are going to do in terms of sharing their curations with each other. I know that students are going to present their drawings to each other, but this kind of seems to be the only thing that has students working with each other. And it may be implied, in the back of the teacher's mind that there's going to be sharing that goes on here. But this is kind of the only information and detail that's given on the assignments. So I don't know. I feel like maybe if the assignments were fleshed out a little bit more, either here or over on the homepage, it might have addressed, that extra sharing piece. So I thought the assignments were good. I thought they grabbed what they were supposed to. I wish that there was a little bit more sharing that was going on in between there. Specifically kind of like fleshed out. So for that section, I would go ahead and give 24 out of 28 points. And then the last thing here is extra credit, and I've kind of thumbed through these tabs numerous times, and I didn't see a video specifically for that. So even on the kind of this technology information, this like teacher specific tab, I didn't really see one. So no points there, but no big deal. That's just the extra credit. So all these things added up here. Get our calculator out. We'll go 10 plus 28 plus 28 plus 28 plus 24 plus 24 is 142. So our points earned is 142, and 142 divided by 150 gives us a total of 94.6%. So nicely done, guys. You did a good job. This is a really cool unit. I think it's really useful and it's really well put together. Just, those few little things. So nicely done.